And we are live. What's going on? It's your boy JC, Nerdy Treasures, coming at you. And today we are doing Geek versus Nerd. I'm the nerd, and this is the geek.
What's up, everybody?
It's your boy Dre. So today we are in a epic battle of wits about Thundercats versus
Master of the Universe.
There you go.
Folks,
And
I'm trying to win the belt today. The belt comes back where it belongs. 2 weeks running, with last week being off week. This week, your boy Dre is taking that title from JC. The nerd's going down, folks.
not happening, buddy. I mean, Thundercats is a time-honored tradition, so people are just going to vote for me.
I don't think so.
What's going on, Alex Lopez and J4RU? How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the stream. So, if you guys don't know, this is our weekly segment where me and Dre like to get together and we like to talk nerd and geek, and we like to just chat it up. Nerd for life. There you go. Funko Pop.
Yo, everybody in the chat, throw a hashtag up for geeks because we all know it's where it's at.
It's all about the nerd, bro. So,
where do we start?
Let's start from the beginning. Let's start the storyline. So, if you guys don't know, some of you in the chat are a little young, and I know there's some youngins in the chat. Thundercats was a really good show. Miss Serenity, how are you doing? Thundercats was a really good show. It premiered about 1985. It was made by the company that made the claymation Christmas movies.
Playmates actually was, I think, the name of the company.
Yeah.
The people that did Ninja Turtles.
Yep. And they made all of the Christmas movies, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeers, the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It was just a great show. And what's going on, Smitty Rock? Welcome to the stream. Sorry, that's what I do. But it was like, it started off as these cat people were coming from their planet. They were trying to escape because of the planet destroyed. They were coming down to Third Earth, which wasn't First Earth or Second Earth, but they were coming to Third Earth, and Lion-O was the head of the Thundercats, but he was a teenage boy at the time, and he couldn't even lift the sword that gave him all the power. But I mean, Jaga trained him pretty well, and somehow, magically, by the time they hit Third Earth, Lion-O became a man, and he was able to lift everything, and but everybody else stayed the same. I never understood that. But that's the storyline and Mumra came to destroy Lion-O and try to take over the Sword of Omens, and it's just an ongoing thing. What's going on to Mr. Something Basic and Rachel Harris? Robert Breaks the YouTube. How you doing, bro?
So he did miss something that they came from Thundera.
I did miss that.
Which is their homeland or home planet, which was then destroyed by the mutants, which then they fled with them to Third Earth. So
and Mumra is the head of the mutants.
And Mumra became the head of the mutants because the mutants became their allies, but there was also Rotaro, who comes later on after they introduced Bengali and everybody else. Now, the only reason I know a lot about this is because I bought the toys and I watched the show as a kid. But because I love both of these shows, and I took the sides of Master of the Universe because I totally believe that Master of the Universe would destroy any. I mean, they were made by Mattel. The storyline sat with King Randor. He was the king of Eternia. You know, if you guys didn't know that, that's where the planet was that they lived on. Prince Adam, who is also AKA Heman, was a prince he was Randor's son, and Skeletor was a dark elf. You know, if you saw the more recent iteration of He-Man, a la, when I say 2003, 2004, they actually introduced a more updated version of it, where acid fell onto the face of the dark elf wizard Skeletor. who is a necromancer, and like Skeletor ends up like hating Randor, and then the sorceress, who is like this representative of a falcon, she ends up giving the sword of power to Prince Adam, and she tells him that you have to, by the power of Grayskull, and when he does that, he becomes He-Man, and then he aims a sword at Battlecat or Cringer and becomes Battlecat. I mean, it was by far one of the more interesting storylines because there was several characters and several storylines and a plethora of adventures they go on. They covered everything. Now, not saying Thundercats didn't do the same thing, because Thundercats did do that very well, actually, to the point that I would even say that Thundercats would even match the amount of characters, but it was all done at the same time for marketing. So for those of you that don't know what it is to buy toys because of the show, new season started meant new toys were coming out. So I would say for both of them, their stories are equally really good.
It's true. I think that both of them, their stories are equally really good. However, I'm pulling for the side of Thundercats this time because, like, honestly, I didn't watch a lot of He-Man. I watched some He-Man, but not as much as I did Thundercats. Thundercats was my show. Like, I still can watch episodes of Thundercats today.
Now, wait. Now, for the people in the chat, also, He-Man's had more than one creation. Like, they've brought back He-Man several times. I think the Cartoon Network or Adult Swim version was the better one. Now, of course, and that went only 2.5 seasons, and they canceled it. A la Thundercats, which was brought back, where the voice actor for Lion-O played Lion-O's dad, retelling the story where it actually took place on Thundera. Actually, it was only received for 1 season and was terrible, and the fans were pissed.
It wasn't terrible. It was
Andro's arms were destroyed by an intergalactic force field. The guy uses nunchucks. He uses nunchucks.
It wasn't terrible. It was deemed too dark to be on Cartoon Network.
But it was on Adult Swim. Look at Steve Universe. Look at Clarence. All those shows, a regular show. Those shows are dark. And you're telling me
this is before those shows, though. This was like...
I will admit it was in a time where they were tinkering with the idea, but then they had anime on Adult Swim, and then they make Rick and Morty.
True.
I rest my case on that one, folks.
So
we're going to talk about revitalizing the show. He-Man destroyed Thundercats.
With the revitalizing, yes, but let's talk about that movie though.
Oh wait, that I actually have because
you actually have a movie that you should never have because that movie was garbage.
Okay, wait. First off.
Dolph Lundgren is
No. I listen. Y'all know I'm the big heel, and I will always side against JC as much as I love him as a brother. But this time I have to say it. Frank Langella as Skeletor, the guy's an Oscar winner. He sucked as Skeletor, but that guy was an Oscar winner. They freaking had Dolph Lundgren, who is young and stupid looking and was Drago from freaking Rocky, and you had to give him the He-Man power sword. You had to give it the 80s bad hair. It was just a terrible ripoff of wanting to be Flash Gordon, but it was still like, I'm going to try to be an 80s cartoon in the 80s movie where they had characters that never showed up in the cartoon series until later on. And when that occurred, oh my God. Talk about merchandising, folks. That was all what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I agree. I look like I'm in prison clothes. It's my work clothes. So
he got his chuckles.
So I agree that you guys made a movie and we didn't ever get around to it because
it's Papa Houston. I see you there, brother. I know JC called you out. What's good?
So I'm gonna say that because we didn't make a movie that was terrible, I think we had the upper hand on that one.
No, you don't. We had a movie that, even as bad as it was, people still remember it. There's been
because it was horrible.
Was the fake trailer that they made with what's his face? Brad Pitt as Lion-O and Panthro was as Vin Diesel.
That was garbage.
Exactly. So even your trailer was hot trash. So at least
that wasn't our trailer.
Don't make me look up how much that movie that grossed. I know that movie grossed at least enough money to even attempt to look at a sequel. So I'm just throwing that out there. My guys are all famous.
You don't think that if they threw out a Thundercats movie right now, that it would gross more than that?
Depending right now, if you throw a He-Man movie out, I think it would kill. Especially with the fact that there was a He-Man movie, and that would be more akin to what people know. People would like to see more human. Not saying they're not wanting to see anthropomorphized cat people, but the Sword of Omens, it sounds bad.
You say they want to see more human
versus the Sword of Power.
Here's the thing: you say they want to see more people movies, but if you look at one of the most grossing movies, it was Avatar.
Avatar still had people that were inside of the Na'vi, and the Na'vi were anthropomorphized versions of like the aliens that were on the planet already. So they had to find a way to bridge. Cool. Not saying Thundercats couldn't do well. I think as an animated movie, it would do well. As a live action,
I think that they should do CG.
Alex Lopez, you're right. I think you would a CGI of both of them would be really good. And Galactic Pops, just so you can see this for 2 seconds. I did get it, but I was saving it for my stream. Just had to throw that in there.
So
we win for the movie because we had one.
Yeah, you guys got the movie because you got a crappy one. That's all right.
Yeah, I'll take it. Dolph Lundgren is still the boss, bro. Let him be King Randor in the modern version. I'd watch it.
Let me say this today, that if you mention Thundercats, people today know what our kids today know. If you mention Thundercat or He-Man, not really many of them know.
Robert knows what he's talking about. He-Man greater than Thundercats. All right.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying is if you mention it to a kid today, like go up and say, what's a Thundercat? They would probably know what a Thundercat is. If you mentioned He-Man, they really don't know. And that's saying something. Thundercats can move through generations. Everyone knows He-Man. Not kids, though. I mean, we are cool with He-Man. But if you went and asked, like, my daughter.
Bye, Miss Serenity.
If you went and asked my daughter, she probably wouldn't know what He-Man looked like. But she,
yeah, because Dre's telling you it's better. I mean, okay, wait. Put it this way: if we were going to even talk about more merchandise, even currently, I have Master of the Universe Funko Pops, which I don't own, but they're worth more money than Thundercats material. Just saying, there's a He-Man's Master of the Universe convention every year, and they make $500 plastic toys.
Hold on.
Or you don't believe me? Go take a look. There ain't no Thundercats Pops.
Oh, I'll take a look.
Let's go for Houston. They did
go for the major ones.
He-Man, Orko, Skeletor, Ram Man. Ram Man's was a Toy Tokyo exclusive, and he was like already like $500. Damn Toy Tokyo.
All right, so He-Man on Stashpedia right now, the Masters of the Universe one right here, right?
Yes.
$107. All right.
Okay. Is there a Pop Thundercats? I think not.
Yeah, there is.
Who?
All of them.
Bull. I don't believe that. I'm going on Stashpedia right now. The vinyls?
Yes.
They made the vinyl. They didn't make like pops.
Lionel Flocked. Right there. $450.
Oh, look at that bull. He had to go all the way to the bullshit of freaking San Diego Comic-Con. That's fine. I'm not saying nothing. There's this Ram Man was the exclusive, and I will say this: He-Man, Master of the Universe pops are more well known, and they have new pops every year. Where Thundercats vinyls were on clearance at GameStop for $4.
Meh.
Hey Liz,
but if you want to go second, we can go villains.
Smitty, don't be taking his side, Smitty. I know where you live.
Yes, you Dre.
Shut up!
Oh, I want to see what did Alex Lopez say? I want to see that. Hold on. Alex Lopez.
We're not making an argument on pop prices. We were just using merchandising because if you really look at it, I can go. If I really wanted to do this, I would go into the He-Man documentary where they showed that guy that he literally is like 50 something or 60 something years old, and he builds the models from the old action figures, and he does like a Hot Toy size version of the action figure, and they sell for anywhere from $400 to like $800, and he only makes a couple thousand a year to sell at the convention. and they're pre-ordered. So you have to like actually go to his website and pre-order them. So they have current comic book. Now they both have comic book series. Master of the Universe, I think, had a game for Nintendo or Sega Genesis. I know one of those consoles had a He-Man game.
Sega Genesis had a He-Man. I know if that for a fact.
I know Thundercats never had anything that I could think of. Maybe Game Boy, if I think back. Really,
they never had video games.
And I know
because
that
they were gone before 1988, which is
when the Game Boy came out,
when everything took off. Yeah, that was another thing. Is I will give you that one because He-Man did last a lot longer.
You need to see what Rob said in the chat. He said, I must have missed that documentary about Thundercats when they did toys. Exactly. They did a documentary on He-Man. That's a win for me right there. We'll take that one right there.
So, I mean, I like what Alex Lopez says. He says that kids today would probably take more to He-Man or to Thundercats.
Because
I do think he says his exact words is, I do think today's audience would prefer Thundercats. They look for the limits to be pushed. And that's true. I mean, there is more limits pushed with Thundercats than with He-Man.
He-Man was more about the lesson, though. I think they would have said, okay, let's be real, though. They pushed more with She-Ra. She-Ra had Bowen. Like, I mean, there was at least a spin-off series of He-Man where Thundercats had no spin-off. The only spin-off series it had was within its own series as like a third season with that was with Bengali, Linkso, and Pumaira and Snarfer. And that was like you're going to go to the tower. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But like, Linkso was useless without his braille board. No offense. And they did push the line. I will admit that. They had my very first character that was blind, who was a martial artist on top of that, was pretty badass. But like
Jiminy Cricket says there is a game for the DS.
Yeah, that was based on the modern. It was based on the more modern Thundercats.
The anime one?
Yeah, the anime one. And it wasn't good. I looked at it.
I might have to check that out though.
Robert makes a good point. He said kids today also take to the rapper with the Skittles grill over Tupac. Once again, kids have no taste. It's true. Kids don't. Like my students always tell me, like, Mr. Saunders, who's your favorite rapper? They're like, I like Post Malone. I'm like, Tupac. Who's Tupac? Go read something. Go get educated. Why is nobody talking about Silverhawks? Because Silverhawks was in the same vein as Thundercats. It was the same company that made them Playmates, which
they tried with Silverhawks to do the animal. They tried to recreate Thundercats with the whole animal human thing, but it didn't work. It didn't even last half a season.
Well, also then it lasted a whole season. They did 52 episodes.
Did they?
Yep. And then they did Tiger Sharks from the same company, which was also like humans that turned into fish. Like they were like shark hybrids, like weird sharks. And I had those toys too, where you like put them in water, their skin would change. It fell into the vein of like Centaurians in that same market. And I like
that. Alex is on it for me today. He says He-Man closely resembles Conan, which is true. He does resemble Conan. And it says, so people may feel like they have to find entertainment in other fandoms, while Thundercats gives kids a wider imagination to the world. And I agree with that because if you look at it, He-Man was Conan in his own form. You know what I mean? I mean, he had that barbaric look to him.
All right, but at the same time, though, look at it from the perspective that He-Man was and is the master of the universe, like in the sense that he, not just in the title, think of what he did. Like he never, they left Eternia, and I mean, but the thing transcended to a different realm where they had a new villain, Hordak. It introduced like part of my friends. I'm not trying to be bad, like the typical Dre by cursing, but like he had the bastard sister who ends up becoming She-Ra, the mistress of power, and like that gets a spinoff series. So again, a spinoff of a spinoff gets another spinoff, and you got to give it its due. Like they're making her more friendly, appealing to children. So if you want to argue like, oh, Thundercats could be more appealing to kids, you're right. But Thundercats isn't getting remade. She-Ra was, and it's on Netflix, and it's killing, which is based off of He-Man. So
Alex says,
if you guys gonna throw me softballs, I'm gonna whack them back out. She-Ra was still the win. And She-Ra was
okay,
created.
but here's the thing: is we're not discussing She-Ra, we're discussing He-Man.
Look how mad he got. Look how mad he's getting, folks.
I'm not getting mad. I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about Thundercats, we're going to talk about all the Thundercats.
Right.
If you want to talk about He-Man.
All right, so if I'm talking about He-Man, and I'm going to specifically say He-Man, I would say merchandise alone, He-Man's still relevant. Where there is still a fan base and a convention base for He-Man every year.
And you don't think there's fan base for Thundercats?
There's no conventions that are in California large enough that house people that actually.
I agree with that. I agree with that. They have more conventions for the Masters of the Universe. I understand that. And I agree that there's a big fan base, but that doesn't make it. I mean, a small fan base is just fine by me. You know?
Sierra was my jam. Thank you, Lady Dazed. I would say this. I mean, just from like Frank Welker, who was the voice of Megatron, he was the voice of Skeletor. That's famous. You know, like people hear that cackle, that you know, like you know who that is. And to know that was the voice of so many villains throughout the 80s, like I have to, you know, let's not even forget that currently He-Man's even relevant more now in the comics because it's Injustice meeting He-Man, where He-Man's going to fight Superman. Where's Lionel fighting Superman?
Lionel don't need to fight Superman. He's a good guy.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Folks. You like my cackle? Thank you, lady.
That would be the best cosplay ever.
You cosplaying Snarf? Yeah.
I would be. That'd be awesome.
Yes, it was. It was a wait. Master of the Universe was not goofy. I will say this: Master of the Universe always taught a story. It taught tolerance.
Okay. Let's talk characters. We got like 5-6 more minutes. Let's talk characters. So.
Win.
Huh?
Man at Arms.
Win.
He-Man, win.
How do you think you win?
Tila, strong female character.
What young boy at our age was not in love with Chitara?
Man, Tila was fine, though. Evil Lynn was fine, too. That girl wore a skull corset, bro. She wore a skull corset and a unitard and always wanted to have sex with Skeletor. You can't go wrong with that. Like, Tila looked
so easy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the characters were goofy, though, because you had the Man of Many Faces, Trapjaw.
They were selling Stinkor.
That's another point. Skeletor, all you had to do was bust him in the head and he was done.
No, that guy was an evil necromancer, man. Y'all, come on now. Don't be hating on Skeletor. He was a freaking awesome villain. Better than Mumra.
What was his head made out of?
Sorry, what did you do to Mumra? Shine some light. Let him see his reflection.
All right.
Who's a better villain than both of them? If you put Skeletor, you put Cobra Commander, and Mumra would lose because he'd look in the Cobra Commander's mask and run and hide like the punk ass that he was.
So it's Skeletor.
Skeletor would beat him with that ramrod that he had, man. He'd be like, like, you know. Plus, he had that cool Panther he rode. Come on.
True.
And how many times he came mad close to coming into he actually entered the freaking Castle Grayskull. Like, that was the jam. Like, Castle Grayskull was on that little rock, like this big. Like, freaking, how many times did they blow up freaking the Cat Mountain? You know? They always blew that thing got blown up more times than that. The head fell off, the eyes came. People always the mutants ran it over. Skeletor got into Grayskull once, and he messed up because that's when everybody came and whooped his ass. But never again. He didn't go after it again. But Mumra, I must get the Thundercats. I mean, come on, give up, dude. They had a lava moat. They had they kept getting attacked at their base. It was like, what's wrong with y'all? Come on now.
All right. So we came to that point in time in our show where we're going to turn it over to you guys. If you guys think that Thundercats was the best, put it in the chat. If you guys think that Masters of the Universe was the best, put it in the chat. Me and him,
Are you reading what Alex said?
No, I didn't see what he said.
Alex wins a purple points. He said Cringer was scared he kept till his balls grew. With lightning, dude, I'd be like, I'd grow too, bro.
So if you guys thought what Thundercats was the best, put it in the chat. If you thought Masters was the best, put it in the chat. I mean, I'm seeing quite a few Masters in the universe. So
I see 3.
You might win this one, buddy.
My belt, baby. The belt's coming home, baby. The belt's coming home.
Pop Hunters used to say Masters of the Universe. A tie, Alex Lopez.
There ain't no tie. I see more. I see 1 Thundercats and a bunch of MOT.
I got you. You won this one.
Ha! I told y'all.
I got you.
Like Brock Lesnar. I brought the belt back. I'm gonna keep it now for 700 days and never give it back.
Here's the challenge I want to do with you next week. If I know you, it's your turn to pick, but I want to do this with you.
What?
Sometime next week, I want to do a recasting, or not a recasting, a casting. Like okay. I did here recently. I did a casting for. If you guys go back and watch it, I did a casting of Pocahontas, and it looked pretty good. With my buddy Noe. So I want to do a casting with you for a Thundercats movie.
We could film that on Monday. I'm good with that. Or we could do it any day of the week. We could do it like on a Tuesday. Well, no, yeah. Tuesday. No, I could do it next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is fine. All right. So I'll get with you on that. So you guys heard it here. We're going to do a casting for Thundercats.
Ooh, that would be good. The Dukes of Hazzard versus Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, I don't know.
People get that. That's really bad. Transformers versus G.I. Joe. We did G.I. Joe, didn't we?
No.
We did. Did we do Transformers yet?
No.
I do Transformers.
I'll take G.I. Joe all day.
I'll take Transformers. So y'all pick that one. I got to give Papa to Houston his choice. I'm down for Transformers. I am not
South Park versus Family Guy.
Like, see, I'm not a big South Park or Family Guy fan. Like that's
Family Guy.
Yeah, I would tie to a Family Guy more because I like that show, you know. But G.I. Joe versus Transformers, I mean, that transcends. Like, that is literally, I don't know who's going to win. That might be one that we keep. Oh, my God, he went to Visionaries. I do remember that show. Yes, I had those creepy toys that you'd aim with the reflector. Yes, I. Oh, my God, that was memories right there. Wow, that cartoon was fucked up. Pardon my French. That cartoon was really bad. They had tar that you'd fall into and you would die. There things out of their chest. If they lost the light, they would. Oh, that show was bad.
Yeah,
and they want to bring it back as a live action.
Man, I mean, we can do G.I. Joe versus. I mean, it's on your channel next week, so
Transformers versus G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Because we got lots.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. So as you guys know, every week we switch this game off. 1 week it's on my channel, next week it's on his channel. 1 week it's on my channel, next week it's on his channel. So next week it obviously is going to be on Dres Geek Depot. So everybody, if you're not supporting Dres Geek Depot, you need to, because the man needs to get to that 600. Please get him to 600.
I'm gonna cry if I don't.
I do have a giveaway to give if he gets to 600. I may have given that double pack away, but I have something to give.
He always does, folks. This is JC we're talking about. He always has a gift to give.
Oh man, we had a come to Jesus meeting the other day with YouTube because
I heard about that. I joined. I came in. Let me tell you, folks. This is my brother right here. And when I came through and heard him and I heard the call, I watched it, and nothing makes you prouder when you hear somebody just come out and say why we do what we do. Because I agree with them 100%. Like I'm kind of like, hey, I lost like 25 subs because I'm not doing giveaways anymore. It's hey, it is what it is, but the whole point is, you guys, we do this content, we put these shows together. It's not like we just, we make up and pull ideas out of our butt. We really work hard to research and come up with the ideas, and the arguments are real, folks. Like, we have fun, and trust me, we do. But it's like, this is our personal time. Like, he could be like doing 10,000 other things and relaxing, but we actually are friends, so we want to make this fun, and it makes the content even better.
I was
So
supposed to take Redbox back today, but I'm not going to get to.
see, and you know, like that's just what we do. So I'm glad you guys stop in and watch us, and I'm glad you guys actually enjoy the content. And I'm glad so many people, even young and old, who are in the chat, were able to participate today.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, you can drop a like and hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you, Dre, for coming on my channel this week. I will be there next week for yours.
Thank you, Lady Dave. I'll be going actually on in a little bit. Like, give me like, once we end our thing here, I usually pop on in about 5 minutes, and y'all can come and continue on with the nerdery for a little bit with me, and then I end it on that note. And then we'll see us on Wednesday for Outside Interference.
Yes, sir. And we got Mr. Pop Hunters Houston Steven coming back. That's going to be a good show with Papa Lucha, I believe. So it's going to be fun.
Oh, and Robert said I was going to have issues. Wednesday's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
We're tearing up some wrestling, folks.
Yeah. All right. So, as always, I have to throw my new YouTube channel of the week in there. Actually, it's for the next 2 weeks. That's the way I'm moving it now. So, for my next 2 weeks, my new YouTube channel of the week, which we're trying to get to 200 subs.
Rob wants to get on this Wednesday.
Okay.
Rob, message us in the group chat. Message in our group chat.
Sounds good. For my next 2 weeks, I will be hitting up Rod's Pops. You guys need to go check out Rod Pops. He is a good, no space in between. He is a good channel. He does a lot of good reviews. He was sitting at 28, something like that. I want to get him to 200 before this 2 weeks is up. So everybody get on Rod's Pops, and we will show him some love. Let him know that the nerdy one sent you. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I have to get back to work. As always, happy hunting because it's worth it. Trey, hit him with your hashtag, bro.
Y'all know, hashtag family, hashtag the click, because I see my brothers in the click here and me and my boy here. And as always, bro, hashtag stay geeky because we always are doing it like that, folks. See you in a few.
Happy hunting. It's worth it. Peace out.